Welcome to the Sunday Rune and Card readings, and thank you so much for joining me. Now today is the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, autumn equinox in the southern hemisphere, and we have just passed a very powerful full moon. It's been an incredibly intense week of lunar energy, and actually the coming week is quite intense as well. So do check out the daily lunar updates, which I will literally post in a moment. I want also to talk a little bit about the tribal moon cycle that we are in at the moment. The third tribal moon weighs the truth. Rather than talk about it loads now, and some of you will just want to speed forwards, watch the lunar updates and then go straight to the readings, I think what I'll do is I'll stick a little extra bit on at the end of the readings for anybody that is interested in the tribal moon cycles and how they kind of influence us as we go through the different phases of the year. I don't know about you guys, but certainly for me, Weighs the Truth just about sums up what's going on in my world at the moment. There are so many things being brought to the surface that are needing to be assessed, weighed up, evaluated, some of which, really cause us to dive quite deep. So if that is resonating with you, check out the little video at the end. I will of course put timestamps in the information box, so you can skip to the readings if you want to, or you can come and join me in a moment when I lay out the cards, talk about which tarot packs and which oracle packs we're using, and any additional guidance that's coming in this incredible pivotal time of change and transformation. So first of all, I will give you the lunar updates for the coming week. I do post them on Instagram and Facebook as well if you want to get them on a daily basis. I will see you in just a moment. That we're going to be using today. Now, in typical lovely, beautiful equinox energy, I've chosen 3 tarot packs that are very orientated with the earth. I mean, we had to use the Dreams of Gaia pack. This will be reading number 2. That was an absolute must. We're also going to use the Light Seers tarot for reading number 1, because that's a very earthy pack, I always feel. And then we are going to use the Medicine Woman tarot as well for reading number 3. Now, because it feels such an energy of manifestation, I always think the equinox, it's such a time of adjustment, whether we are bringing in the final harvest, if we're in the autumn equinox, or in the spring equinox, we are about to shift into a place where we are investing in making those dreams and promises of in bulk. We are talking about making those real, investing the energy to move things forward, sowing seeds. So I'm actually, for each of the 3 readings, I'm going to draw from the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards and also from the Flowers Oracle. Now, this is not a pack I use very much. I'm not terribly familiar with them, so if the meaning comes through very clearly to me in terms of what we're being shown, then that's great. But if I'm not sure, I will actually check in on the book and read to you from it. We will, of course, also be using astrology dice, runes, possibly charms. I'm just going to be very organic within the readings. But let us just run through, in case you're wanting to just tune in again with which of the cards are really, really speaking to you. So reading number 1, this is the Light Seers Tarot. Reading number 2, we have Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Reading number 3, the Medicine Woman Tarot. And then the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards and the Flowers Oracle. These will be in every reading. So wonderful friends, I will leave you to sit with these packs. If you're not sure yet, do just press the pause button. The timestamps are in the information box and in the comments for phone users, so you should be able to fast forward. And I will, as I mentioned at the very beginning, I will put an added bit on at the end if you want to learn a little bit more about the tribal moon cycles and the energy of those, and also how the moon, I might talk a little bit about how the moon adds to the existing energy of the very powerful astrological stuff that's going on at the moment with the other planets. So tons and tons of love, and I will see you in the readings in just a moment. Okay guys, so you chose the Light Seers Tarot, and I also got this Carnelian Heart. I deliberately brought this in because Ways the Truth can feel quite full on as a moon cycle, and so, you know, maybe perseverance may be needed. You may be called to develop resilience as well, durability. Sometimes that can feel as though we're lacking in that, so during this moon phase, because it can really be bringing so much up in our worlds. So let's look at what the tarot is first of all showing us for the equinox guidance. Ooh. Okay, so we have Queen of Cups and we have Two of Cups. Okay, this looks to be a relationship reading at first glance. I'm sure there'll be more to show us, but Queen of Cups, Two of Cups, this is the coming together. Something's actually happening here. Oh, that definitely wanted to come through. The Chariot. Ooh, okay. Something moving forwards quite fast. Do you know, I want to say love is in the air. I just have to voice this because it's literally just, that's what I'm kind of hearing, feeling, sitting in the energy of this. It feels literally like love is in the air. So I guess whether you're tucking in, yeah, look at that. Page of Cups. Here we have love is in the air. This is that pigs might fly, that, you know, soulmate of your dreams. Ooh, this is very tingly, very exciting. Do you know, I don't feel I want to draw anymore. This feels like you've been manifesting something. So, but what this is sort of saying, I think, Two of Cups, is there's something very real happening here. You know, I feel like something here is going to move forwards relationship-wise for you. Now, whether that is a new relationship, brand new, if you're single and looking for a soulmate, whether you are already in a relationship and it's about to gather momentum, I think. I mean, the Chariot suggests this is moving forwards, and this feels like it's your dreams come true. It's the stuff you almost couldn't quite believe was possible. Okay, let's see what the Flowers card shows us. The Flowers Oracle. That's your card. 26, Rock Rose. Now, I'm not familiar with this card. I'm not very familiar with this pack, so I'm actually going to check this out. 26. This is one of those books that's in lots of different languages. So 26, Rock Rose. Leave chaos and panic behind to rediscover your capacity to dominate the situation. Courage returns and you will resolve the emergency. You are sensitive and delicate. Remember that you can also be strong and courageous. Gosh, this feels really important in this time of weighs the truth, this tribal moon cycle of weighs the truth. I feel like this is almost suggesting a message coming through, so I'll voice it. It won't be for all of you, it will be for some of you. There is a message coming through that something has been taking up your time in a way that you haven't been able to focus on the one thing you've really been dreaming about. It's either that or there's something within the situation that you're in. Again, another message that won't apply to all of you, but to some, that there's something within a situation that's felt a bit out of your control, but bizarrely from within it, I think this is going to emerge. So it may be if there has been conflict or difficulty or a challenge within an existing relationship, I think that's going to emerge. It's going to move forwards and move forwards quite quickly with a really desired result. If a circumstance has stopped you from following your dreams, or you have been in the midst of some sort of panic and chaos, it's within that sort of almost like someone shows up. And you would never have dreamed that person would suddenly pop up unexpectedly within the midst of all of this stuff, but they do. And it's time to step back. Take charge of your own energy and your own time, I'm hearing as well, in terms of how you invest your time. Prioritize the things that really matter. Don't let the chaos or somebody else's drama or the drama of a situation overwhelm you. I think one of the important lessons for me in Weighs the Truth is learning to be able to respond to something and yet then step down from it, not to sort of churn it over and over, just to think about it thoughtfully, mindfully, deal with it, and then step away, to still have the downtime, to still have the unwinding time. Yeah, it's okay not to be okay. There's a really nice human validation in this. I will voice it in just a minute. Synchronicity. Yeah, this is the timing. It's okay not to be okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to handle everything, okay? If you're experiencing powerful emotions, which can happen in this moon cycle, it can happen anytime, of course, but I always think Weighs the Truth, it often refers to big stuff. So yeah, it can evoke powerful emotions, but it is interesting because it feels like it's within this situation that something's going to emerge. Synchronicity. Open yourself to possibility. Yeah. Don't feel, again, another message coming through very clearly. I say don't feel, obviously feel everything, but don't feel as though I think what's coming through, it's not an either or situation, again, weighing up. It's not an either or situation. It doesn't mean if you're having to attend to something that your entire life disappears simultaneously or your dreams are shelved. If anything, any experiences you have, especially if they raise challenging emotions, they actually can give you what we might call a contrasting experience that allows you to then know with greater clarity what you are seeking. You know, if we have a difficult experience, we're having to weigh that up. When we experience something challenging, actually part of the purpose is it helps us to define what we do want. You know, there's a real art in manifestation around this. I might do a video about this one day, but there's a real art in being able to listen to our experiences, listen to those feelings of not okayness, and use them as a tool and a guide to establish what we do want, and then use that within your manifestations. So rather than thinking, almost putting out into the universe, I don't want this, I don't want that, we actually reframe that in a very different way, and we place it in the context of I do want. It's like we want the opposite. So I think there's something quite important here, because the Queen of Cups for me talks about not just someone who understands how to look after her own body, her own wellness, her own well-being, but and she's a nurturer. But I also feel she's very good at manifesting, particularly in this pack. I always feel she's a symbol for me of manifestation in terms of getting her energy right. Because if we think of everything manifesting from the inside out, actually we need to keep our energy good, clean, flowing, and really on track in order to continually be putting out into the universe what we wish to receive. Queen of Cups, Two of Cups, there's definitely love is in the air. Love is in the air, and it's going to move forwards quickly and fast. It's going to happen. And this really is the stuff of dreams coming true. So this reading is really saying to you, hold that energy, synchronicity, trust. Even if there's something quite chaotic around you, I think there's something within that is going to create an opening for you. Open yourself to possibility. And it may even be that in the chaos and the weighing things up and the standing up for the things you know to be right, your energy shifts to a place where you then attract exactly the kind of person that you want to resonate with. I'll touch base on what the cards say, but I think the messages here are actually quite clear. So it's okay not to be okay. When we feel low or have challenging emotions, we often then feel bad about feeling bad. And this effectively doubles the emotional load. But it's really challenging, isn't it? I think we live in quite a black and white orientated world in terms of how we feel. And people worry a lot about this. It's like, gosh, if I'm feeling bad about something, will this affect my manifestations? And then they worry about that as well. So we're adding worry to the load. Actually, if you experience something difficult, for example, if somebody says something that is dishonest, and you are hurt by that, or you feel strongly about it, your response isn't negative. It's a very, very appropriate response to something that isn't okay. And we need to listen to those feelings, because those feelings guide us to know what actions we need to take. So emotions are quite an important part of our navigational system. Okay, so this card asks you to understand your difficult feelings as guidance, highlighting that something needs to change and that you are entitled to seek support in this. Again, you don't have to go it alone here. There's something about stepping away from something. And again, a relationship of genuine love support is coming in here. This is the Page of Cups. This is, dreams come true sort of stuff. So synchronicity are seemingly random coincidences showing up in your life. This card asks you to listen to the signs and take them seriously. You are tuning into the universal energy of a greater collective consciousness, and these synchronicities are arriving in your world to guide you. Listen. So again, even if you don't feel good, listen, trust. There's something taking place. It's like the universe is actually sort of orchestrating around you. Open yourself to possibility. Almost everyone holds some limiting beliefs about themselves. This is really true, isn't it? It's just such a human thing. These perceptions block us from receiving the infinite support of the universe. This card is an invitation to reassess and look beyond these limitations, and to recognize that in opening yourself to possibility, you automatically invite positive change into your life. So again, recognizing even if you don't feel okay, that can be a really significant turning point to actually shifting you into a space of possibility and of what you desire. Our interpretation of our feelings is really important. If when you experience an emotion, you view it as negative, and then you just either shut it down or sweep it under the carpet, it's kind of not going to go away. It's not going to get processed. Actually, if you think of emotions as energy in motion, emotions give us the energy we need, the impetus, the information we need to move forwards, to know what actions we need to take. And that in turn not only keeps our energetic flow moving, but it also means that the universe can support us, because we're often, if it's a challenging thing or a difficult feeling, it helps us to process, to step up, to move forwards. I do, for anyone new to me or my channel, I have a whole library online. The link is in the information box below, and I'll put it in the comments too. It's called the A to Z of Emotional Health. It's a free online library. It's a completely free resource. It will always be free. I worked as a counsellor, a psychotherapist for 28 years before I moved into really far more eclectic work, far more openly spiritual work, and that library was sort of my parting gift to working full-time in that profession. And it is just full of videos, audios, resources to support emotional awareness, emotional growth, emotional understanding. There are meditation pages. I recently uploaded something new in the Conversations with Men as well, you know, a very sort of dedicated area to help. Often guys find it harder to talk about feelings, so there's quite a few guys that I've engaged in conversation with to talk about, you know, how they've navigated learning to talk about their feelings. There's just a ton of stuff. So, you know, if this is relevant to you, do please check it out. It's a completely free resource and it is there for everybody to use. So let's draw the astrology dice. Okay, this is really interesting. So we have the South Node in Aquarius. Okay, this is very karmic. There's something really, really karmic. I think in the chaos that you're stepping away from, there's something quite karmic even within that is creating a synchronicity moment, a moment of opportunity, of possibility. It's either because it's supporting you in growing into more of the person you need to be, stepping up, weighing things up, balancing, or it's literally this situation is the situation that needed to happen for you to meet this person, or for this existing relationship to up its grade and move into a space of very much, again, the age of Aquarius, of higher knowledge, higher awareness, higher consciousness. So very powerful and very lovely reading. I feel like there's an undertone of stuff you're needing to deal with. I know I've just voiced it, but I'll say it again in my own personal experience. Ways the Truth has been a month where, and I'll speak about this in the little video at the end, it's certainly a month where I know, or a moon phase, not technically a month, but where so much is shown that I have had to evaluate, weigh up, and all of that is helping me to kind of step up and be the best version of me, you know, to really, really navigate and to be able to attend to things and then step away, not to carry those feelings, not to dwell in them, not to be burdened by them, but to process them in a way that is helpful, valuable, and allows the universe to support me and bring me what I need. Very interesting. There's so much love and support coming in here, but I think very specifically from a relationship. Okay, we have the spiritual warrior, we have the rune of protection that has shown up, and we have the rune of the self. Look at that, the last rune that was showing itself in there. It's the rune of partnership. So I was almost debating, shall I lift the bag and see what that was or not? And here we are, absolute confirmation here. So I'm just going to lay these out slightly differently so we can see them. So first of all, the rune of the spiritual warrior is all about discernment. So totally weighs the truth again. It's the discernment, it's cutting through, I'm going to say cutting through the crap. It's knowing the truth of the matter, being clear, being decisive, not putting up with things. Discernment means we don't put up with things that are unacceptable. It doesn't mean we judge, it doesn't mean we seek retribution, but it does mean we stand firm and we don't put up with, we don't accept the unacceptable. And the rune of protection, again, I think you are being really, really, your position here is being validated. The rune of protection also says, you know, do you know the key here to your well-being is right action. If you follow a pathway of integrity, you will be looked after, you will be protected. So really clear, and this is developing you as a human being. It is you yourself that are emerging here, and that is what is attracting this partnership, this increase, this love, this new relationship, or the upgrading of an existing relationship. It's your integrity, it's your right action that's going to follow through. The rune of the Self is interesting because it's actually like a mirror image of the rune of joy. So this is like, again, I often think when it shows up in a partnership reading, it's actually telling you that this is like your soulmate, your mirror. It's like a mirror image. You're bringing in to you, you are attracting to you who you are being. So the more integrity, the more you hold that pathway for yourself, the more the right person is going to come to you. Wonderful, friends. I'm seeing you've had to work for this, but wow, because it feels pretty awesome, and it feels as though this is going to happen quickly, which is gorgeous, and that there is a very karmic feel to it. So I'm going to wrap up this reading. Wonderful, friends. I have a monthly draw each month, so for those of you that are new to my readings, I give away a pack of these cards every month, and also a free private reading. So it is a subscriber offer, but if you wish to subscribe and then you'd like to add yourself to my subscriber email list, once you're on it, you'll be in that monthly prize draw forever. And I make the announcements once a month on a Sunday, usually after one of the readings. I announced last week. So tons and tons of love, and thank you just so much for being a part of this amazing community. Tons of love. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. So guys, you've chosen the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Let's have a little look and see what the cards just initially show for us. Okay, so 3 of Air. My goodness me, look at all the symbols here, and the owl. This feels like a card of wisdom, of knowledge coming to you in some way. I feel like you're going to be shown something. Ooh, wow, 5 of Fire. There's information being brought to you about, Queen of Fire, about some kind of a circumstance where there's potential conflict. You're going to be given some information that will be really important and really helpful to you. King of Fire. Gosh, this is very passionate. Fiery passionate. I'm going to say that if you are in a passionate relationship, then, or if you meet someone, I don't think this is specifically a focus, a reading that focuses on relationship as such, but I do feel like if you do meet somebody, if you are looking for a soulmate, there could be significant sparks flying, or conflict, or jealousy, or there's something, competition in some way around. Hold the higher ground. The information you need is being shown to you regarding this. Yes, abundance. Ooh, this is a very powerful reading. Before I dive into what's coming through at this moment in time, hold the higher ground here. I'm going to draw some of the other cards first. So I'm going to draw from the Flowers pack first of all. Star of Bethlehem. Oh wow, gosh. Ooh, I feel quite, you know when the hairs on your body stand on end when, you just know you're being shown something. Abundance. Whatever this conflict is about, because there is an energy of conflict or competition. I think I want to say I think you're going to be united with someone. Hold the higher ground. Now, it's really interesting, King and Queen of Fire, because this is a strong partnership here. see what else we're shown. I may draw some additional cards actually with this for another, from a different pack. I have some extra packs sitting around, although these are the cards we've chosen. I mean, this may be you and someone else, depending on, you know, they're non-gender specific as such, but this is a very strong team. And so this may be you and someone else, or it may be a team that you are meeting, some aspect of. I'm getting a much stronger feeling that this is, no, this is the strength. Now, whether this is you or a different team, but I think it's you. You're facing some kind of a conflict, some aspect of competition. What you're being shown is a really, really strong result. It's the holding of the higher ground, the Star of Bethlehem. It's like you're being guided to resolve something here, or to address something. Leadership, yeah, you're being asked to step up. Have your voice. Yeah, this is you. You've done nothing wrong. Super. This is lovely. This is a reading of affirmation. Absolutely a massive reading of affirmation. It's very strong, very powerful. First of all, you're being shown something. For some of you, there may even be some aspect of legal things going on, but you're being shown something. You will receive signs, things will come to you. I want to say things will come to you that you need. It's a 3. It's a wonderful 3 of air. The information you need to transform something will come to you, and it will come very clearly. It may be that the information that comes to you does create a situation where there's some aspect of confrontation. Maybe someone doesn't agree with where you are. This feels so strong. It feels really, really solid. This is a team. Leadership, have your voice. You've done nothing wrong. Star of Bethlehem, this is you're being spiritually guided. You are being watched over. I literally feel you're being watched over. You're being watched over by angels. You're being guided. It's as simple as that. The signs, the symbols, the synchronicities. There's a purpose to this, actually. Yes, Moon in Aries. Look at that again. I'm going to, of course, this is referencing immediately. I will put the video on at the end, a little video where I'm going to talk about Ways the Truth, which is the moon cycle we're in. We're in the equinox today. It's a time of balance. It's a time of equality. Any aspect, that's what's coming through here. You're actually challenging some aspect, I think, potentially some of you. Again, this may be a very direct message for some, but not all. You're challenging some aspect of inequality or injustice. You're being given the signs, you're being given the synchronicities. This is a powerful partnership. It's a really fruitful outcome. That's what I'm seeing here. A really fruitful outcome. You're being spiritually guided. Abundance will come in every way. The moon weighs the truth. This is the tribal moon phase we are in. In this particular moon phase, we often experience circumstances that call us to step up, that call us to put things right. If we've done something wrong, to put something right. If we haven't done something wrong, but somebody else is doing something wrong, to step up and address that. Aries, full of power, a very powerful dynamic here. Aries, of course, we are about to enter with the spring equinox. We also enter the sign of Aries. It's a time of new beginnings. It's the new start to the year of the zodiac. Aries symbolizes the new beginning of the year. So we are really in a powerful time of action. So leadership, we all lead by example, our words and actions presenting a role model to everyone that we come into contact with. This card asks you to take an ownership of your personal leadership qualities and to align your thoughts, words and actions with everything that you wish to see in the world. Have your voice. Is there anything you need to say? An inability to speak can leave us with feelings of hurt and resentment, which then create a kind of internal energetic roadblock. Voice your feelings to yourself or write them down. It's time to release the past. You've done nothing wrong. Whatever has taken place was out of your control and out of your hands. This card asks you to let go of any feelings of guilt or personal blame. This was not your fault. You've done nothing wrong. So what I want to voice here, these are very specific messages. Overall, what I am hearing is you're processing something, and I think you are literally being guided. You have guides walking with you. You are literally being carried through this by angels. I really feel really strongly there's something here that needs to happen, and it needs to evolve and emerge. That star of Bethlehem is guiding you. It is to do with you stepping up, and in a more personal way, this is about you actually rising above possibly some of your fears of having a voice. You haven't done anything wrong. You know, whatever's going on around you, you didn't do anything to cause it. If you're having to respond, I think some of you will be responding to something. There's a really favourable outcome. This is spiritually, there is spiritual guidance emerging here. So, but you are, this is such an affirmation for you. I am going to draw a couple of additional cards. I'm going to draw from, I think, an angel pack. I'm just very curious because this looks like such a strong partnership. Queen of Fire, King of Fire. You see, in a way, I feel like it's like you're aligning. It may be that part of this aspect of sort of competitiveness, or somebody coming in and not being prepared to, you know, compromise or again, take responsibility for themselves. There's some energy here taking place. But you know, in some ways, this is about leadership. Queen of Fire, King of Fire, Moon in Aries. This is about stepping up. But you're not alone. That's what comes in here. So if you're meeting people who are behaving badly, who feel strong, I'm almost like logically looking at these cards and thinking that, but I don't feel it actually. So I'm just going to put that train of thought down, because it's not actually what I'm hearing. It's almost the logic in me that's associating the Queen and King of Fire with this, and it's not. It's different. It's a different energy altogether. This is the strength of leadership moving forwards. You're not alone. Now, it may be that there are other people around you who are supporting you. You may find yourself with in partnership with someone who will absolutely, you're going to walk alongside each other and you're going to head this up. And you know, this is guided. This is important. On the other hand, it could be referring to your own guides, your own angels. So let's draw some additional cards. That's what I feel we want to do. Angel of Tranquility. Well, that's beautiful. Angel of Success. Right, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to do a little bit of energy shifting, and I do that. I haven't done that for a little while in the readings, but I'm going to today. And I'm just going to draw some runes as well. But my energy shifting is this card needs to be placed and contained where it needs to be, and these cards need to be put up here, but we'll voice that in a moment. Let's draw some runes. The first rune, Ice. The second rune, Protection. Third rune of Fertility. Lovely. Might draw some more. Okay, yep. Rune of Initiation. I feel really strongly this had to happen. Rune of Constraint, Rune of Harvest. Lovely. Okay. So before I interpret these runes and speak about them, I'd like you just to sit with the energy of this as it is. I'm going to move those two beautiful cards for a moment. Just sit with the energy of this. And see what it feels like. Listen to what you feel in your body as you sit with this. And then we're going to do some energy shifting, and we're going to use the runes. So at the moment, information has either been given to you, shown to you. Ultimately, it's all signs, it's all symbols, it's all synchronicities. It was stuff that you needed to see. And it has created some sort of aspect of concern, conflict, competition, something with this going on. it feels like it's got quite a lower vibration. This doesn't, which is why I'm really just sitting with the way this is flowing through. We're going to move this because it's time for leadership to have your voice. You haven't done anything wrong here. Okay. So don't allow any of this lower vibrational energy to tell you or accuse you or tell you you've done something wrong. You haven't. Let's move this over here. This is the energy shifting. Now this is really important. I want to say the situation has possibly been a bit stuck. It's felt as though you haven't really been able to move something forwards, but actually that's going to change. The rune of protection, aside from the fact that I think you are being clearly divinely guided, therefore protection is around you. Protection also speaks of right action. It speaks of integrity. This is a situation where right action, integrity wins. It's as simple as that. And there's a real dominant force around you here in a good way. There's a strength of unity coming through. Fertility, something is going to come to a head. Okay, this is the energy around you. Something will come to a head. Fertility, completion of beginnings. So something is going to reach a point where it's reached a point where it's a significant turning point, as it is. Leadership, have your voice. This is such an affirmation. Angel of Tranquility, I'm going to place here. Okay. Angel of Tranquility, the Queen of Fire, the King of Fire, and let's see if we can move these along a bit, make some space. Such a unity here. Really feels very strong. Angel of Tranquility, Angel of Success. This is there is real support around you, whether that is actually in practical human terms, real practical human terms, collaboration, the strength that comes from your guides, your angels, from knowing that you are walking that pathway of integrity. This is a real strong union. There is support around you to move this forwards. Angel of Success, abundance. You know, there's going to be a favourable outcome here. What is interesting with our runes here, we have the rune of initiation. This is like a rite of passage where things move forwards. Now we have the rune of constraint. So what this is telling me is that I think the situation may not move forwards as fast as you would like. Okay, it may take some time to be processed, but there's real affirmation here. I did say if there are any legal things going on for any of you, this is going to it'll take time. I mean, you know, we have the Angel of Success, the Angel of Abundance. You know, the guidance is really clear here. And we have the rune of harvest. This is a fruit-bearing rune. It's a rune of promise. The rune of harvest tends to suggest that a cycle or something has to be gone through to get to the outcome. But the outcome is coming. It's favourable. The abundance will be achieved. The success will be achieved. This is a real affirmation. I'm still slightly intrigued by the Queen and King of Fire, but I think it's different for you each. I think for some of you, there's someone walking alongside you and you are together a force to be reckoned with. For others, it is literally the support of your guides, of your angels, but there's a very strong energy of unity here. For some, it even may be the collaboration of a community together. But you are moving forwards. This is happening. This just needs to be contained. You need to observe it for what it is. Angel of Tranquility. Don't allow this to make you feel this or make you feel bad, as it were. You've done nothing wrong, okay? Don't allow this stuff to stop you from feeling good about yourself, tranquil, or feel that there's anything wrong. And if you need some release, you know, just keep a journal. Write your feelings down, let them out. Don't carry them around with you. This will come to fruition, but you know, the rune of constraint, it's like when fishermen can't go to sea, they mend their nets. Cross the T's, dot the I's, and be meticulous in your process and you will arrive at where you need to be. The abundance will come. This is a guided piece of action that you're taking, and you know, it's needed to happen. It's yeah, you're being guided, you're being protected, and you know, something that was at a standstill, something that felt very stuck, is about to come to an initial stage of completion. And yeah, it's a rite of passage. It's a way forward to something. You're going to enter the situation will enter a transitionary phase. Dot the T's, cross the I's. No, cross the T's, dot the I's. That's the one. Yeah, fertility's coming. Harvest is coming. Abundance is coming. Success is coming. Just, you know, hold your tranquility. Keep your ground. Just know you're doing the right thing, and all will be well. Beautiful reading, actually, I want to say, because it feels incredibly powerful and yet so affirming. You know, whatever has taken place was out of your control, out of your hands. Do not have any feelings of guilt or personal blame. This was not your fault. You've done nothing wrong. So, big respect. Wonderful friends, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you for other readings as I post them. I hope you've been enjoying some of the spontaneous ones I've been putting up. Guys, I give away a pack of these Art of Manifestation Oracle cards every month and a free private reading. It's a subscriber offer. I have like a subscriber email list. I'll put the link in the information box and in the comments if you do wish to subscribe. You don't have to, but if you wish to be a part of this lovely community, you are really, really welcome. And thank you for joining us today. And, you know, if you want to be on that in that prize draw, once you've added yourself to the list, you're on it permanently, and we just put a number count thing in and draw the names out of the hat every month. And I always make the announcement after one of the Sunday readings, so always watch out for those as well. Tons and tons and tons of love. Have an amazing week. Be tranquil. You're being supported, guided. You know, this just needs to be contained. It is what it is. You've done nothing wrong. In fact, actually, I'm just going to place that card bang on there. We're going to cover that one up. Hey, that feels good. Oh, that does feel good. And in fact, actually, even more energy shifting. Let's just bring that card of abundance down here. Oh, now that feels good. You know, I feel like I've created an initial completion. Yeah, really good. Really good. I just think there's been a bit of sort of, you know, yeah, slanging going on and that sort of stuff around this. But yeah, you've done nothing wrong. Whew, that feels lovely. Right, awesome people. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again, and have an amazing week. And yeah, have an amazing week. Leadership, wow, tons of love. So you guys have chosen the Medicine Woman Tarot. Let's draw that first. I'm going to move these over for a moment and see what we are shown for reading number 3. Seeker, the High Priestess. Beautiful energy. This feels very positive. I think that too. Okay, we have 5 of arrows and 6 of arrows. Turning point around you. Eight of arrows. You're in a very creative space here. There's something absolutely perfect in terms of timing for you to move something forwards. The energy at the moment is very powerfully intense. So what I'm going to say to you guys is, we have the Devil, Trickster. What I'm going to say is, I feel as though if we think of the lunar energy at the moment as being an opportunity when it's intense to channel that energy into action, I feel for you guys there's something really quite important in navigating your own energy, channeling through. Apprentice of Stones. I'm actually going to draw even more from this pack. 4 of Pipes. Four of arrows. Arrows again, look at this. Rebirth. Okay. Take action now. It always makes me laugh when the cards just pop out in such a, you know, you're already on that trait, you're already thinking something, it's time to take action, it's time to move forwards. And then here we have, take action now, off you go. Okay, we've got two here. So cherry plum and also century. Now I'm not very familiar with this pack. I know some of them but not all, but I'm actually going to read to you from the book for these two because I'm not particularly familiar with either of these. When you start working with a brand new pack, I always find it takes a little while to get to really know them all, and sometimes if I'm really drawn to using them, you know, I just want to, in which case, I mean, this is the way to learn, is actually to constantly be looking. So we have 6, cherry plum. This flower will help you feel you are out of danger. You can stop holding back the sea and the storm of your emotions. Stop controlling your thoughts that are in a tailspin. Let relaxation overtake you, from the images in your mind to the fibres of your muscle. Raise your voice in joyful song. Number 4, century. Your glance is fixed on others by their needs and desires, but in this way you risk disappearing from your own horizon. Look inside yourself towards what you are and what you want. There you will find the constancy to be free, the will to move along your path, the strength to create your destiny. Love your neighbour as yourself. See, this is really interesting, sitting here with the devil. Tricksters. Now, a trickster, if we think of a trickster as being somebody, it's kind of like the energy of the south of the medicine wheel, the coyote energy, the trickster. You know, people and circumstances that show up, that actually ultimately part of the lesson that comes with them is about learning to laugh at ourselves and not taking life so seriously. I'm not saying that you might not be dealing with something quite serious, because this is all about moving forwards. But I also feel you're building something here. You're actually you're being invited to take action, to build something, to really be very heavily involved in your own manifestation process here. You know, you're moving to a place of rebirth, and part of this is actually kind of learning to navigate when things don't run smoothly, I think, or when things are, when there's lots going on. I think what I'm being shown is that when there is a lot going on, it's almost as if it can derail you. Okay, that's what I really feel I'm shown. You know, 5 of arrows. It's time to give of yourself, share of yourself, move things forwards, look ahead. There's something about not putting yourself to one side anymore. The devil for me as well is really interesting, because in a traditional pack, it's ultimately, it's not just as in this pack about the trickster energy, learning to laugh at ourselves, but it's also, for me, it's a card of liberation. It sometimes speaks of addictions, but it's the things that we tie ourselves to. And the card of the devil always says, it's often depicted with 2 people dancing, but they're on chains, but they could let go of those chains. They've put the chains there themselves. So it's sort of cutting cords. I feel like you're building something here. 2 fours, there's a consolidation. and a genuine rebirth for you. Take action now. This is a clear and unequivocal message that action on your part is needed now. Manifestation is not simply a process of visioning in and dreaming about your desires. When an opportunity is offered to you, you must also take action, pay attention to the signs and move forwards fearlessly. Again, the seeker, the high priestess. I feel like this reading is saying to you, look, don't let the energy of others or of external circumstances hold you back, drain you, knock you off balance, derail you. This is time, whatever comes and whatever is going on in your world, this is time for you each time to sort of like cut that cord, get back up and move on with your own focus. You know how you can receive a phone call or an email or something flies in and you think, oh, and it lowers your energy. This is about learning. Part of the rebirth here is about learning not to be knocked off balance. Pick it up, deal with it, move on. I know that's very dynamic, but very straightforward and a bit bullshit, actually, I think, if I listen to my tone of voice, which is, I generally try to support people in finding a way forwards, but this has got that energy about it. In fact, it's quite fascinating because I don't normally talk like that, but I feel like it's saying, come on, take action, don't be held back. If you get an email, it doesn't have to overcast your whole day. If you get an email, then, either park it or respond to it. And then put it down and off you go. It's like really about moving things forwards. It's about about moving things forwards, cutting cords. There's also a really interesting 8 of Arrows, a gift. You're being called to share your gifts and to foster them, nurture them. It's like, again, I feel like something you have within you, something that you would like to express, something that you wish to manifest, it's like it's there, it's simmering. But procrastination, that's what's coming through as well. It's like sometimes we just procrastinate, we can't get going, and this is really asking you to be very conscious about cutting the cords of procrastination. Actually pick yourself up and go for it. Part of the learning and the rebirth here is learning to do exactly that, to navigate stuff in a way that, for me, it feels mindful. We're talking about mindfulness here. 4 of Pipes, you're building. 4 of Arrows, you're manifesting. This is a very active reading. It's like an invitation to manifest something and to physically take the actions needed to invest in that possibility. Let's throw the astrology dice. Okay, so you have Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury is interesting because Mercury, of course, is the energy of the magician. It is about manifestation. The energy of the magician, the alchemist, the creator, can also have an energy of the trickster as well. It's like sometimes, again, somebody can come into our life and it's like they become what I would call in the storytellers, if we think of archetypes within storytelling, it's like a threshold guardian, a gatekeeper to your own rebirth. And sometimes if someone blocks you or they annoyingly hold you up or whatever that may be, the purpose is actually so you overcome that. They are actually signposting you in some way. They're causing you to laugh at yourself, not to take something so seriously. And it's interesting, here we are in the spring equinox, which of course is, although in many ways in a medicine wheel, the spring equinox is I suppose the gateway of the east. It's the beginning, it's the spring. But there's something about this energy of, let's lighten up here, let's move forwards, obviously if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're in the autumn equinox, but the energy of this reading is about manifestation. It's about taking action, it's about doing, not being knocked off balance, staying on course, investing, nurturing in what you want. openings, clarity. Hold your clear, crystal clear intentions and your direction. If you have been surrounded by fog, which is often fear, obligation or guilt, the fog is going to lift and you're free to move forwards with clarity. Something that has been clouding your vision. And there's a twofold message here. Something that's been clouding your vision and stopping you from moving forwards with dedication is going to be lifted. The way is going to become clear. The twofold message is, I think for some of you, circumstances just begin to dissipate. The energy of the trickster dissipates and you can fully invest in, there's a gift, something comes to you that helps you to move forwards. But for others, it's the fact that you are cutting those cords. You're learning not to be knocked off balance. And because of that, those doorways of opportunity are automatically going to come. We have the rune of defense. This is about boundaries. And we have the rune of harvest. Lovely. So, openings, clarity of direction. The rune of defense is interesting because for me it speaks of boundaries, but it can also ask us, so various messages coming through, so they will relate to some of you but not all. I'll run through them. So firstly, boundaries. For some of you, you need to hold your boundaries and not allow stuff coming in to knock you off course. So again, it's a bit like if you're going to look at your emails, set yourself a time to look at them every day, or twice if you need to, or even 3 times if you need to, but don't constantly sit there watching the next one come in. Give yourself dedicated time to be creative if you're trying to be involved in something, because it's like the energy of something incoming, unless there's something of real urgency, just the energy of the incoming will clutter your internal energy and stop you from being able to be on balance and on track here. So there's something around holding your boundaries in that way, keeping your sacred creative space available for manifestation and for action and investment. For some of you, there's some cutting cords around holding boundaries with specific people. Who are the sort of people who knock on your door even though they know you're working. You let them know you're going to have some dedicated time, or they try and make you feel guilty if you're not giving them everything that they want when they want it. It's time to draw those boundaries. Don't be made as well to feel guilty. Another message, one of the messages coming through is, don't allow circumstances or people to sort of almost take a precedence over your own process, the things that you are seeking. It's time to bring this back into balance. And if people have been, or circumstances have been holding you up, step back and laugh at human nature rather than get wound up and invest in the that's sort of the crossness of the situation or the frustration. Just stand back and laugh about it. Laugh at humanity. The rune of harvest is gorgeous because it's asking you to invest. The rune of harvest, apprentice of stones. The rune of harvest speaks of an oncoming cycle with the promise of a harvest. But to bring in that harvest, we have to invest and work. Manifestation is not just about visioning and dreaming. It's about making it happen and taking action. We have to do the work. We have to till the ground. We have to sow the seeds. We have to nurture them as they come up. We have to help them to flourish. And then we have to bring in the harvest at the end. There's work to be done. I feel very matter of a fact. Interesting with this energy of Mercury here, because Capricorn is such a doing sign. It's an ambitious sign. It's very earthy. It's very grounded. It's about making solid structures, investing properly in something. So it's got a lovely energy of creativity, of manifestation in real terms here. So it's time to get down to it. Feels solid, lovely, really good. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I think now this feels good. Now, Wonderful friends, each month I give away a pack of these cards, the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. It's a first signed limited edition, and I give away a free private reading as well. If you would like to be in my monthly prize draw, it is a subscriber offer, so thank you guys, for all of you who are subscribing anyway. I mean, just thank you so much for supporting this channel. Really, you are so appreciated. If you are subscribing and you want to be in that monthly subscriber draw, just add yourself to my subscriber email list. The link is in the information box below and is in the comments for phone users. Once you're on the list, you're on it forever, so unless you decide to remove yourself from it. So you know, that's it. We literally do a number count and pull the names out of a hat, and I announce the winners after a Sunday reading, you know, in the first 2 weeks of each month. So do watch out for the Sunday readings as they come into your stream, and yeah, watch out for the one that has the winners in it as well. Tons and tons and tons and tons of love. Have an amazing week. Have a constructive, focused, dynamic week. I've got to say this, Archangel Sandalphon. Powerful energy, Archangel Sandalphon. I really feel that message coming through. Archangel Sandalphon was one of the 2 archangels who lived on earth, I think, as a human being, and then became an archangel. I think I'm right about that. Some of you will know more of that than I do, so please comment. I love the way you guys bring in extra information to share. It's just wonderful. I mean, this is a wonderful community. Archangel Sandalphon, he helps you to get organized, helps you to overcome procrastination, to get organized, plan your work and get to it. So there's something of that energy around here, which is just lovely. Have a wonderfully fruitful week. Tons of love to you. Welcome everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the readings and found the one that was right for you, or the ones that were right for you. This is a little add-on today because we are in the spring equinox, and the equinoxes, the solstices, all of the earth festivals are kind of energetically, they are moments when the earth pauses for breath and we can literally take stock and evaluate. The equinoxes are pivotal turning points when everything is actually equal and in balance. You know, the sun and the moon, in terms of daylight, night and day, are absolutely in perfect balance. And within that space of balance, we are often called to review, to balance. Now, the equinox, in this instance, the spring equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, the autumn equinox in the Southern Hemisphere, this falls into the 3rd moon cycle, the tribal moon cycle of Ways the Truth. Now, the tribal moon cycles were for me just like a total game changer. I really want to honour the work of Jamie Sams, who for me became a mentor through her books and her teachings. I learned so much about the way in which this sort of deep soul psychological influence of the lunar energy was taking place almost like on an evolutionary basis every year. We go through the 13 tribal moon cycles, and during those phases, so at the moment it's Ways the Truth, it's like stuff just shows up, or this is my experience anyway, stuff that shows up in your world, or my world, literally reflects the lessons and the learning of that lunar phase and of that teaching, the teachings of, at the moment, Ways the Truth. I cannot tell you how much stuff is showing up in my world where I'm being called to evaluate, to hold my ground, to be really firm, to balance things out, and also to act with compassion but also with firmness. It really reminds me, the energy of this phase, of the card of Temperance, where the goddess Iris is, I mean, my goodness me, she's a real benevolent figure, but she doesn't mess about either. She has impeccable boundaries, and it just kind of sums up this energy. And it's fascinating for me. I've done so many readings this month when the card of Temperance just keeps on showing up again and again. It's really present in the energy around us all. And if we think about, there's a ton of stuff going on astrologically. I'm sure any of you who follow, really, you know, there's so many brilliant astrologers out there. Any of you who follow those astrologers will know there's a lot of really massive evolutionary astrological connections going on. They started in 2020, followed into 2021. They're different. And again, this year we have really interesting stuff taking place. Later in the year, we revisit the energy of 2021 again. So there's a lot of, again, weighing things up, trying things on for size at the moment with very specific kind of life lessons. Now, if you think about those big astrological happenings, and then you think about the moon journeying around through all these mixed energies, taking her, 28 point something or nearly 29 days that she takes for her full cycle around. When she passes the dynamics of the other astrological stuff that's going on, her energy adds an influence to that. So if there's a really intense astrological collaboration going on out there, when the moon passes that, she will add volume, add energy to that, add weight to it, depending on whether she is sort of connected to it in a favourable way or she's connected to it in a way that's a little bit more challenging. We're going to see that energy enhanced of the existing kind of collaborative pattern going on. It's one of the reasons why I've started doing the daily lunar updates, because I'm looking at what's actually happening on that very day. How is the lunar energy affecting and influencing, or how is the lunar energy being influenced by whatever is going on astrologically in an overall way in that moment. It's been a fascinating journey for me to really delve into the daily stuff and really consistently work with that. So, and thank you guys to those of you who have been giving constant feedback on Instagram and Facebook. Really, really appreciate hearing that it's helpful for you. So I think what I'll do, as I said, I just wanted to add a bit of extra stuff at the end here, because I just feel we're going through such a hugely intense period of transformation where humanity is being shunted into a new age, kind of whether we like it or not. We're being called to step up, to live through a different lens of consciousness. And so a lot of the lessons that we are being given, whether they are external and it's causing us to have to really work out our own position in response to that, or in a very direct way where we're needing to address things that we need to attend to in our own lives, this is evolving, it's emerging, it's happening. So I thought what I would do is just read to you. Some of you may have this already. It's the Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon Journal. The journal, unlike the diary, actually focuses on the tribal moon cycles. So I thought I would just read you a little bit from this for anyone that doesn't have it, and just thought it might be interesting. During this lunar month, so this is the third moon phase of 2022, we have this powerful full moon that we've just gone past. This is the moon Weighs the Truth, worm moon, sometimes known as worm moon, sap moon, wind moon and ash moon. During this lunar month, the values and learning that underpin our personal growth and influence our creative manifestations come from the wisdom of Weighs the Truth, supported by the energy of Ash, who like a torchbearer reaches tall and straight, holding the light and calling for the truth to be seen and heard. The energy of the equinox signals a time of equal day and night, calling us to value the shadows as well as the light. It is often in passing through the darkness that we discover our greatest learning. During the moon time of Weighs the Truth, several situations came into my world. I'm writing about last year when I really started to write about this. Several situations that came into my world required me to stand strong and to observe with compassion whilst looking more deeply and asking why. To find answers, I needed to ask questions. Why do we do what we do, and what drives us to act in ways that are unhelpful or damaging to either ourselves or others? Building on the lessons and learning from the previous lunar cycle of remembering and learning from the past, this month, Weighs the Truth invites us to learn to evaluate circumstances in the here and now with compassion, and to take the time to build our awareness of all that has contributed to the current situation before deciding how best to respond. In my own world, to find the best way forwards, evaluate not only what was needed right now in the present time, but I also needed to consider the longer term implications of my decisions and find solutions that would benefit everyone involved and also the wider community. I have to say, this is absolutely, I wrote this from last year, but this is absolutely repeating itself again in entirely different circumstances. the energetic is exactly the same. I now speak of the dynamics of the new moon in Pisces, which we have already had. That's the starting point. It's the new moon that starts the tribal phase for the coming cycle. The dynamics of the new moon in Pisces are particularly favourable for higher vision and out-of-the-box solutions. So clarity of direction for your new moon wishes and intentions may arrive in unexpected ways, opening avenues for adjustment, course correction and new directions. Well, that may have happened to you already. We've gone past that new moon. However, we have now just literally and are still sitting in the energy of the full moon. The full moon in Virgo, also known as worm moon, sap moon, wind moon and ash moon, brings the perfect energetic to review and attend to the details. Seeing every situation and seeing every aspect of a situation before diligently following through with actions that support powerful transformation and the benefit of all, and support the benefit of all. Okay, so that's exactly the dynamic that we are currently sitting in and will continue until we reach the next new moon. I also aligned this. I've chosen a crystal of each month, so I will just read that for those of you who are interested in this. The crystal of the month was labradorite, or I say the month because the moon phases aren't a proper calendar month, but this is the moon phase, the third moon phase. Labradorite, aligning with the third moon phase, weighs the truth, a pivotal month of transformation. Labradorite is known as a stone of transformation, and it is said to bring the wearer strength and perseverance. Its energy heightens spiritual connections, and it's known as a revealer. It grounds us, strengthens trust in both ourselves and the universe. As a revealer, it shows us the truth behind the illusion, and so it cuts through the concepts of our limited ego mind. This is a stone that I find aids and enhances my creativity, helping to bring focus and channel energy into conscious, direct actions of manifestation. So guys, I hope for some of you that will have been helpful. If it is, let me know, because I'm really happy to do a little add-on every time we get to the beginning of a new phase, either around the new moon or the full moon, whatever feels most appropriate. So as always, leave your thoughts in the comments, because I do pick them up and I can then act on them. And I hope you guys are enjoying some of the spontaneous extras. I'm gradually starting to pick up your ideas and work with those. So watch this space, because they will be fast and coming as my own timescales permit. But yeah, powerful times we are sitting in at the moment, wonderful friends. And I am truly, truly honoured to be here with you, walking with you, and I'm truly honoured to be a part of this this online community, which is, you know, undoubtedly about conscious living. You guys really are, I feel really humbled by you when I read your comments, the aspects of your lives that you share, and, you know, aspects of your stories. So just really, really big respect to you all, and thank you so much for being a part of all of this.